live.
We are live.
We are live.
No, I need.
Excellent. So, if you can see us, say hello. Tell us where you are. As you can see, um, Barbara has changed.
Change my voice, change my accent.
You both got curly hair though.
But you can't see that at the
You
moment.
can't see that with yours
Got a
because
bit
it's
of a
up.
bad hair day.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we got a special magical expert in for the barking up the right tree people.
Magical. I
And
like.
then for Happy Henry's lovely people, you get to have me, sorry.
Well, no, the happy handlers. Oh, look at that. I can see the light shining in my eyes. Woo. Happy handlers, most of them or know of the infamous Julia.
Yeah.
So we love joining you for this live.
Because there's such a kind of crossover between handling, struggles with handling and struggles with reactivity. So it made perfect sense for us to both chat. No one's speaking to us again. Oh no. Is there
Okay.
anybody out there? I
I
do
mean,
know that
just
some people do struggle.
it's
Um,
just as long as we know they can actually hear and see, because I've talked for half an hour on my lives before and then found out that no one would have heard me if they were on.
that's bad. No, I like having people because but one thing that Barbara and I do is we ask lots of questions and then people have to give fruit emojis as responses. So you end up with a bit of a fruit salad. Let me just readjust that,
Oh,
which is
instead of
kind of
actually
fun.
commenting,
And
uh,
I feel a little bit lonely when it's just me, you see.
yes, I do envy you and Barbara for having that back and forth
I know we can
malarkey.
have a proper bit of a giggle. So yeah, do feel free to join in the chat. It's always super nice, and it means you can ask 80 billion questions if you like, or just one question is also absolutely fine. Which would be great. I know we usually have got a few on by now, but I can't see anybody. So here in the UK, it's been really warm today, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, it has, but and grooming, when in the grooming salon, it's usually
Oh
the
my
time when
gosh.
we don't, because things can upset dogs, and heat
100%.
especially. But I have a really cold unit, so I actually have to, in the winter, it's not so good, but in the summer, I actually go outside into the courtyard to warm up because it's quite cool. So people love coming to
Do
my,
they?
yeah, I don't even have to have
Brilliant.
air conditioning. It just, it's cold.
I've had to message my in-person people for tomorrow and suggest that we reschedule because it's just not fair
Are
on.
they outdoor sessions that
The
you've got?
first one is midday and we were planning to go outside, so that can't happen. And the second one was inside, but the house is quite warm and it's a dog who gets his knickers in a little bit of a knot. So I just thought it'd be a bit much for him.
Yeah, even on Sunday, I met up with a dog and a client at in a car park, and it was 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was still really warm at 5 o'clock on Sunday. I just wanted to point out to everybody because I just noticed, see, this is zero alcohol. I mean, probably if it wasn't zero, I'd still be drinking it. But I just want everyone to not worry that
Yeah, she's not on the sauce while talking to you.
although
Don't worry. Well, I can't see anybody. One day somebody will say hello. This is to say, we had a little bit of a slow start last time. Do you know what I think happened? Is because Barbara and I had so many struggles live streaming straight to Facebook. So we kept starting late.
well, you have
So
to show me how to do
understandably,
that as well.
yeah, people just assume that it's going to be late, and I don't blame them because I would if I was them. Um, but now we're on YouTube. It was super simple. Super. I'll show you. I promise. Right. Should we get on with it? Let's start talking about stuff.
Yes. Where do we see the comments, by the way?
If you follow the little link,
Yeah.
and you go in
There's 5
there,
viewers, it says.
hmm?
Says
Yeah,
there's 5 viewers.
yeah, yeah, and you click on the, oh, what do you call it? The little icon. You know, the one that's got like the broadcasty thing on it?
The broadcasty thing on it.
I don't know what it's
You're good.
called.
You're good.
Hi, Claire. We got Claire Charlesworth.
Oh, hey, Claire.
She's my new favorite.
She is awesome.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yes. And Willow, not Willow, Chloe is coming along in leaps and bounds. And I think Claire agrees that she is the Chloe 2.0
Oh,
now.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Hi, Nicola.
Is that Nicola B?
It is Nicola B.
Oh, now that's Willow's mom.
See, your people are winning so far. Where are my people?
You know,
And
they do as they're told.
mine are rebels. Our people are total rebels. Anyway,
Well, look, I can't see questions, so I'm just going to.
don't worry, I'll be in charge of comments. I can do that. I can
Okay.
be in charge of the chat.
Everyone knows I'm not exactly the best technological person.
I'll do all that kind of thing. So can I ask a little question to start us off?
Yes.
When we talk about like consent-based grooming and consent-based handling, what does that mean and why are we talking about it?
Well, before I do that, may I just say hello to everybody who is in this group who doesn't know me?
Oh yeah, I should have introduced you properly, shouldn't I? How rude.
Well, I'm going to get you to do the same as well because my people don't know
That's
your
true.
people. But I'm Victoria and I have Happy Henry's grooming and training in Staffordshire, and I'm an holistic groomer as well as a games-based trainer, and I have a behavior certification. So I work with dogs because of my dog Henry, and I look at the whole picture when it comes to working with dogs. It's not just grooming. We take into account a variety of things, including what their life is like outside, what they're eating, etc., and their health wise. But as far as consent goes, so I previously was a consent groomer, although there's a fine line. I mean, at the end of the day, would a dog consent? You know, I think we can more say it's cooperate. They're words that are thrown around, I think, that are interchangeable. I mean, like some people say fear-free, but honestly, at the end of the day,
Is it really?
well, that's it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't
There's
it?
a really good fear-free certification out there, but at the end of the day, is it fear-free? Because we don't know what's going on in the dogs' heads, and it's the emotional part that we're trying to work with. So, consent work, from my point of view, is that I use techniques that are fun and teach the dog that there will be a good outcome. A bit like my analogy is I say that I teach dogs to put at their paw like I do at the dentist, in that I don't like the dentist, never really liked it, but I've been so many times I needed to get it done that I have learned skills over the years whether that's box breathing, or I lie back and count the tiles, the spots on the tiles, or anything. So I've learned some techniques to enable me to cope with going to the dentists. And I know at the end of the day that if I get too stressed, I can just raise my hand and my dentist says, okay. And I take a beat and I go, okay, let me get myself together. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's go again. And that is how I work with dogs, that No. Would they rather be where else? Probably. But sometimes we can make it enjoyable for them, and they have a good time. But then we balance it up with adding a little bit of stress. Because as Julia has probably told all you guys in the Barking Up the Right Tea group, that a little bit of stress is good for learning. But if we push them too far, it's not happening. So when
No,
we've got those reactive dogs that are losing their brains in the environment, it is pointless trying to teach them their 2 + 2. So,
exactly that.
so yeah, that's what I
I've got
say.
some comments for you though
Oh,
already. I
okay.
know. Firstly, Carmela is listening, but she is commenting on Facebook because she's having a little bit of a commenting YouTube issue,
Oh, you
which is
are doing a
absolutely
double
no
duty.
problem. And you're going to love this one. Patricia, who's listening and watching, says she's in California. Nice.
Trisha!
Um,
They don't know that I used to live there, so.
no, but she said, I'm already sold on Victoria, even though I've never heard of her.
Well, Patricia, tell me, where are you located in California?
Well, she's normally on the East Coast.
Well, where on
So
the East Coast then? I might as well go all around all the places I've lived.
I know exactly.
Well, welcome. I said to someone today that I am really missing California. It has a very special place, and I was there for 16 in San Francisco. I was in the States for 30 years, but I'm okay with being here right now, but I do miss it. So maybe I can bring Happy Henry's back too, as Henry is an American dog.
He is, isn't he?
He is. He's from Illinois. So I could bring him back. But yes, that's well,
So sweet.
welcome everybody. And what does Camilla say?
Just that she was just telling me that she's going to communicate on Facebook. So
Oh.
I'm keeping an eye on her comments there. So that's not an issue.
You are so multi-talented.
I know, literally am.
I can barely put my clothes on in the morning. Never mind do 3 different
Sometimes you
social media
don't.
things. Sometimes I don't. I've got my t-shirt on though now. You don't know what's going on.
Hilarious.
I'll stop now. Honest, I promise it's 0 alcohol. Okay.
Patricia says she's from Livermore in the Bay Area.
It's really hot in Livermore. How is it at the moment in Livermore, Patricia? Yeah, I was in San Francisco, so in the summer it was really cold. But yes, it's nice out in Livermore, but it's hot.
Right, should we get back
Next
on
question.
task?
Sorry, I digress. I listen, before we go any further, I need to apologize to all of your people or people that don't know me. I do talk a little bit.
She does.
Yeah.
I'm
So
relatively used to telling her to shut up. So
yeah, I was going to say, and
you
if
should be
anyone
okay.
feels that I'm getting too much, just put a note to Julia.
Yeah, so tell her to shut
I
up.
do get carried away and I get a bit distracted. So, okay, I'm focused now.
Unlike me and Barbara, totally. We can talk for Britain or Namibia or Germany or wherever. We're such a multinational little thing. Yeah, Patricia says it's gorgeous where she is. Right. So anyway, for the happy people, Happy Henry's
Happy handlers.
happy handlers, beg your pardon. I'm Julia. I am half of Barking Up the Right Tree. My other half, Barbara, who's not in a kind of, partner in a business way. I just dig a little hole there.
Well, it's a very
Is
long distance
busy
relationship.
doing magical things in Tonga.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, she's doing something fabulous. So we are the home really for owners of reactive dogs. And we do this sort of stuff. We do online courses. We do little diagnostics on a one-to-one basis. There's all sorts of stuff goes on. And yeah, so I am a dog trainer and behavior specialist. As is Barbara. Barbara is also somebody, she works with Susan Garrett, helping people on some of Susan's courses as well. So that is us. And
I have a Susan Garrett game as well that I'd like to talk about. at,
We'll
at
do
some
that.
point during this. Yes. Yeah.
We can do that. Not a problem. So, people watching or listening, has your dog ever hated being brushed, whether it's by you or a groomer, or being handled at a vet? So either or. So could you pop in the comments a yes or a no while you're having a little think? Okay. And in the meantime, Vic, if you could, why don't we just, you know how there are, when you take your dog to a groomer,
Yes.
quite often you see they've got those like funny hammocky things that they sort of dangle the dog on, and they put things around their necks and basically just immobilize them and then start getting yanking away at the fur. Why can't we do that, Victoria?
Well, one, you can do that. And I wouldn't like to, I want to add that this is even non-holistic groomers. There are gentle groomers out there who do
Yes.
know better than doing some of those things. And I will say that if the individual dog is comfortable with conventional grooming, then I don't have a problem with conventional grooming.
Yeah.
It is the dogs that can't cope with it and the reactive dogs. And I get dogs coming to me who've been fired from groomers or and I've just found that it's like, and we're taught at school when we go to grooming school, is, if the dog resists, you restrain. If they resist even more and they start acting out, you restrain more. And maybe you then get in another person to help you.
Yeah.
But it's like shaking up a Coca-Cola bottle. The or a champagne bottle. I think that's actually more fun. Shaking up a champagne bottle, at some point, that cork is going to pop out and explode and injure somebody. Yes, Julia.
I was just doing my impression of a champagne cork.
Oh, I thought you were putting up your hand to ask a question.
Not that
So,
polite.
so, and that's one thing that you've got, that if there is no way for the dogs to release some of that built up pressure and turn the lid on the bottle, and ease some of that air out, we can end up with a really big mess. So I have found that even confident dogs can struggle with being restrained. Even those
Yeah.
dogs that present as confident in their normal world, if we put them into an environment that they are not comfortable with, the bucket fills up. And I'm sure that, Julia, you talk about the bucket.
Oh, yes, I do. Me and my whiteboard talk about the bucket a lot.
So all these little things pay into the bucket. And if we don't control, if it gets to the top of the bucket, we then get the dogs behaving in a way that we don't like. But it's not that they're choosing to, as you all know this. It just is their protection system. So restraints fill the bucket. Stillness fills the bucket. So I
Yes.
incorporate a lot of movement and a lot of games.
That's the
Um,
thing, actually, that I think people miss, don't they?
mhm.
Is that it's really hard just to stand still when you're a dog.
Oh, yeah. But
You know?
I found, what, even me, I was taught, oh, you get your dog to sit while another dog's walking by. But if we're doing that, we're then forcing that Coke bottle is going, and then just as the dog walks past, it. So
Exactly.
movement is really good. So I use it. I do a lot of releases, sendaways, and teach them to get on and off the table or on and off the mat and give them breaks. And we gradually build up. We work that muscle that in the beginning, it might be just I'm going to see if we can work on just being in my space first. I'm not even going to try and touch you. Then I might try and touch you, but we want to create a picture for them that is nothing like the picture they've experienced before. So if people come and they've had struggles with other groomers,
Yeah.
I like to know what was the situation. What brushes are you using at home? Because I found that surprisingly, not a lot of people are actually taught know how to use a slicker brush correctly. So generally, if people come to me with a dog that's already got problems and struggles, I will say, send me a picture of the tools that you're currently using or
Yeah.
bring them with you, but don't get them out of your bag in front of the dog because they might be the triggers that cause the bucket to fill up.
Exactly that, exactly that. And you know, we talk a lot about kind of triggers in terms of any kind of reactivity, because in a lot of ways, this kind of handling, it's just another type of reactivity issue.
Hmm.
Now, I was just thinking when you were talking about, you know, how that conventional grooming works well for some dogs, and that's absolutely fine, and you know, go with that. I suppose the thing that I've always got in my head, that little bell in my head, dinging away with my, you know, reactivity specialist hat on, I'm thinking, well, we know that when a reactive dog is outside and there's stuff happening all the time, we're not always great at noticing those super early signs that the dog's feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that always worries me. I've always got that little thing in my head going, do we really know? Are we sure?
Well,
You know what I mean?
there are a couple of ways that I look at it. One is that the guardians, they a lot of time people just don't know. They don't know because they've never needed to know. It's right. And until you have one of those dogs, you aren't really
Yeah.
paying attention to every little
It's the
move.
same with that reactivity on walks, isn't it? You get
Yes.
those people like, well, I've never had a dog like this before.
Yeah, right. So I the other thing is that when you go to conventional grooming school, it's a bit like vets, right? The behavior that they actually get, the education on behavior is minuscule
It
compared
really
to
is.
everything else,
Yeah.
and so
Unless they're you know, do the behavior specialism. So if they're a proper vet behaviorist,
yeah, if they do, but
obviously.
generally, and all vets will say they may get a couple of days on actual
Hmm.
behavior. So it's not their fault, but from my point of view, I have a lot of work experience girls come to me and they're struggling at college because they're there, but how can we how can we set the groomers up for success and on day one you get your hands on a dog day one.
Yeah.
So if someone drops off their reactive dog and pays their low amount because colleges don't charge a lot, um, if the student isn't aware of what to look for and they're told they have to get their hands on this dog, it can lead to a whole host of traumatic issues for everybody.
Exactly.
People drop out because it's too stressful. They get bitten, so I do strongly believe that the education side of it needs to change. And it's not just changing groomers because groomers don't realize they're doing. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the stuff that's on social media at the moment, and I'm not going
Yeah.
to go down that route, but
No.
I really would like to give the majority of groomers the benefit of the doubt that
I do too. I'm 100% with you. I mean, I've got a couple of lovely comments. Well, a comment and a question from
oh,
Carmela. So, but the comment is, damn sure I'd act out if restrained in any situation. Sort of
right?
floats your boat, doesn't it, Carmela?
I mean, most people,
Yeah. But
if
some
they've,
people, you know,
it,
fine, not a problem.
it's
But
like PTSD though.
exactly. But the question is a great question. How would you know if the dog is confident or if it's just learned helplessness?
Well, this is why I don't push them into a point where
You wouldn't, but
it's
you
but
know,
and I think that's
it
what a
happens.
lot of that's what because we're taught at college that when you're holding the dog's leg, you hold it, and if they try and pull away, you hold it.
You
You
hold
keep
it
on holding
tighter.
it
Yeah.
until they give in.
And it's
But
kind of based on the fact that you're kind of looking for that learned helplessness, aren't you? You want the dog
yes,
to give up.
and a lot of groomers will go, "Oh, they're calm now, so it's fine. We're going to carry
Mhm.
on." And
Yeah.
again, I don't think, but if that's how they're being taught, that, and if the dog's fooling around and messing about, you just put a stop to that. And it's naughty. No, don't do that. And it really causes problems with the natural communication
Exactly.
matter of a dog as
It's
well.
the same as the kind of I think training is dog training and behavior is a few steps ahead in terms of that, but we're nowhere near there yet in terms of going down that kind of the dog's welfare matters and what the dog's thinking matters rather than just trying to get that compliance. Because,
Yeah.
rather than
I mean, there is,
focusing on that.
but so yes, Kamal is right. There is, we, to a certain degree, but if I find that if I put in enough the work and go back to basics with these dogs and start that conversation again, so that like if a dog growls at me, I'm actively going to reward them. I'm going to
Absolutely, because
reward
they've
them and
said,
reward
haven't
them
they?
away.
Yeah,
But
they've said.
and a lot of the dogs that I have come to me, it's like, oh, they just bite. They just bite out of nowhere. And then you have to then, so I actually educate the guardians as well, because I understand that now they might be biting out of nowhere, but if they are constantly told to stop growling, they're so efficient, right? They
They're
go,
like,
well,
I'm
hold
gonna
on,
have
last
to
time it
up
didn't
my
work.
game here then. I've got to go for the bites.
So
You know,
I go back to that. Let's start a conversation with the dog. And it really helps me when I know that the dog is uncomfortable, but we have to teach them to exit the space first without touching them, start building that trust that something potentially scary might happen, but there will be a good outcome.
yeah. We come back to that in a minute. We've had some lovely comments. So the question I asked is, has your dog ever been uncomfortable at the groomers, vets, blah, 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 blah,
Hmm.
blah.
Hmm.
Claire and Nicola, both a yes. Kirsten, yes, but she's working with her dog on Garrett's pedicure please program. She
Hmm.
wrote PPP. I had to think what that stood for. And that works really great. And that's a consent-based approach. So the
Yes.
dog goes in a position and then moves and you stop, blah, 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 which is really cool. Patricia, yes, exclamation mark, especially teeth checked at the vet. And how about screaming at nail trims? And then Nicola has made some really good points and asked a very difficult question, Victoria. And I don't think we're going to be able to totally answer it. So, should the default be consent-based grooming for me? Yes, that should be the default. That's the aim, or holistic grooming. And how would you influence a change in that education system? It's a huge
Well, I'm
question.
trying, and I'll tell you
Yeah,
what
there's some super influential people, aren't there, that are really, you know,
and I have had a lot of
organizing now.
conversations with Stephanie Zickman from the Holistic Grooming
Who
Academy.
was at our festival? Lovely
So
Stephanie.
yeah, and also Sue
Soon,
Williamson.
yeah.
But and there's recently been a new group. We there is talk, what about should we have some sort of association? So, but I think the only way is to I one thing I've started doing is I've started collaborating with other people, not just other professionals like yourself, Julia, but are the groomers who I get dogs referred to me who are from who are the groomers aren't holistic or consent. You know, they are gentle groomers, but they're still using, the standard because you can't push people too far. It's like when the guardians come with their dog. We can't if that we have to meet them where they are,
Exactly.
or
You
we
can't
can
scare the life out of them.
no. If
Yeah.
I just every time I spoke to a groomer, I was like, it wouldn't get me anywhere. So, as I do with my clients, that I have to find out where they're at and then go, okay, so we start here and can we have a conversation? But I get people, groomers calling me to say, hey, I've got this dog and I'm trying something, but it's not working. Can you help? So I've actually just started now a giving. If anyone has got groomers of their own, and they're looking and you feel that the dog loves the groomer. This is the other thing. If the dog loves that person, but there's something not working, they can book a free grooming professional 30-minute free consult with me. And you know what? And I brainstorm with them and
Yeah. Have
give
a
them a
chat.
freebie. If it doesn't
Yeah.
work, then fine. But I would like to help groomers as well because I don't think that
Yeah.
they want to do what's best, but they don't know how.
I know exactly. So when you're just for the people at home, when you've been to a groomer or a vet or anywhere that your dog's had to have some handling and they've been uncomfortable, who has ever been told they just have to get used to it? I've been told that. We had a thing with both my dogs are idiots. No, they're both rescues that I got when they were about 5 and they hadn't really had a home before. Well, they hadn't had a home
Julia, you've
before.
gone all blurry.
I know, I don't quite know why. Come back, there we go. They hadn't had a home before, so they were crazy mixed up kids, and we were doing really well with handling. Until Dash was at the vet's, they clipped his nails and they clipped his quick, and it just ruined everything. And it's like, no, be fine. I just need to get used to it. No.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the time it's true. And this comes back to the grooming school as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and when students come to me for work experience, they say, I've got to do 40 hours. And by the end of it, I've got to be clipping dogs' nails and clipping their coat off or whatever. And I have to manage everyone's expectations.
Yeah.
Say,
It's
those
hard.
nails are a tricky thing.
Yeah.
There is the dogs that I work with, probably not so much, but if you do cut it too short, it can be that instant learning.
Well, that's what happened with Dashi. It was that instant
And then
pow.
trying to
Yeah.
do it. So that's why I encourage the majority of my clients now come once a month at least for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So the if we don't get it, it's not the end of the world. I also teach like scratchboard
Hmm.
because and I encourage another thing to for if anyone if you don't know about is the Deb Jones nail care book. Help, I can't cut my dog's nails.
Yeah.
It's absolutely it's an ebook and I can find the link for
If you
you.
find the links, stick it in the chat and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay,
That would be
because
really cool.
it's it's an ebook. It's like $7.99 US dollars. She has got a Facebook group as well, so I encourage everyone to get onto that. And
We've got a little story from Kirsten. So she once brought her dog to a groomer for a nail trim, and usually I wait outside, but this time I brought him downstairs and was watching, and I saw my dog with a lot of lip licking. I asked if I could come in to at least help him with some yummy treats, and that worked. But it's so hard to see my boy go through this. and that's when she started working with the Pedicure Please program. And Nicola said a previous groomer, she was told Willow was not as reactive as other dogs, so don't worry. You hear that, you get that a lot, don't you? Oh, do you know what? I've seen a lot worse. It's fine. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and it's difficult, but Kirsten, the fact that you were able to go back and watch them, there's a lot of places because
Yeah,
when they come to me and I say, so how does your dog do at the groomers? And they go, oh, they're fine. And I
yeah.
go,
How do you
have you
know?
seen them? Oh, because they say they're fine.
Yeah,
And and this is another area that I think would be good to start changing and having a different conversation. That as groomers, we're sort of setting ourselves up for failure if we're making it more difficult for ourselves. If every time, how did my one, when anyone comes to me, if they're dropping the dog off and leaving them, whenever they, I don't think I've ever not said, oh, they were fine. It's always been, oh, has there been something going on at home because he was a bit there, or
yeah.
there's always something.
But
So
that's that thing, isn't it? It's that pride thing. It's
that
like, of course they
they
were
don't
fine
want to
because
say,
I am a dog
right.
whisperer. Yeah,
But then what happens doing that is that they're saying fine. That means they've got to get that dog done. And then we've got to fit in more dogs like a production line. And in the US, it's a lot more expensive to get a dog groomed than here. And they take longer. They're a
yeah,
bit like they are already, but here I feel that it's a pressure that the groomers are actually putting on themselves when if they said, actually, you know what, guardians most of the time they want to know that their dog is happy and
mm,
comfortable. And
yeah.
if they're struggling with an aspect of it, why not teach the guardians or give them some tips on how to change that rather than just say they're fine, bring them back when in between the guardian could be doing Susan Garrett's thing, right? Or
Exactly. Or
doing
just
something
doing,
else.
yeah, very, I mean, Kirsten just said, how do we find a groomer like you? It's
Oh,
difficult. I mean, for
there's not
me,
many. In fact, there's only one of me, and
oh my
literally, you
gosh,
don't
thank
know.
goodness for that,
Well,
eh?
I was going to say, Kirsty, you don't really want more.
Nobody would ever get a word in edgeways. Do you know what? It's very rare that I meet my match, so I love it. What was I going to say? So, yes, I remember. For me, if I've got a client with a really reactive dog and they're looking for a groomer and they don't live near Victoria or other people like her that I know of, I have a couple of questions that I suggest you ask. One of which is, are you prepared to leave the job half done if my dog's not happy? Because I want to know that, that my dog's welfare is more important than them looking show standard. And then the second one is, can I come in?
And if you can't come in because apparently it's often, well, it's because of insurance you can't come in. I don't know why, because it's if you get the insurance to cover it, then I don't know. But if you can't, if they say you can't come in, ask if you can just, could they send you a little video of Fido?
That's a great idea.
That
I
is,
love
and
that.
if they say no, we can't do that, then I would just be questioning why can't they do it? But if they do
Mm.
do it, then you could show it to someone else who may know more about language and behavior. Or you might look at it and go, oh, after all I've learned from Julia or Vic, that dog doesn't look happy. So
Yeah, doesn't
then you
feel
have
right.
to think about looking elsewhere. But I do think more guardians are wanting the more, but they have no idea what goes on
Mm.
behind closed doors. Sad to say.
So, is there anything, what can we do as non-groomers or non-vets if we're looking at vet handling? I'm looking at the full shebang.
Yep.
Um, and we've got a reactive dog and we've got a dog that's really hating it.
Mhm.
What are some top, what could we do? What would be a good way to get started to just
Well,
help our dog really?
the first thing that I would recommend is there's a new course out. Happy Handling, Happy Henry's Foundation Games for Happy Handling. But all jokes aside, it it works on building trust with that dog and improving the relationship. So things that you can do is start doing exercises with them and finding out ways that you can um, work in a get a boundary or a mat so that you're always working on the same place, creating a little picture.
Wouldn't it be great if, say, barking up the right tree group members could get a bit of a discount? What do you
uh,
reckon?
I don't know. Do you think they would like that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could use the code Barking 2025. Top of my head.
And you know what? We could use the code Barking 2025,
Have you got a link?
but but
Yeah.
they would get, should we do 20% off?
Yeah, we're nice. You're nicer than that.
What about 30%?
No, you're still nicer.
Okay, because it's you, I'm going to give 50%. 50% off the foundation games for happy handling. It's my first endeavor into this thing, but I've received some amazing feedback already. It's currently running live and one lesson's going out a week, but I've got to now find a link for you to pull it
I'm
up.
trying to find one as well.
Yeah, it's all right. I've got one here. There's
Oh,
one right here.
you're a good human.
I am going to do it right now. Hold on, bear with. Um, click, click. Click, click. There's the Met comment. Copy that. And then I go back to the Zoom and then I have to share or go into chat.
Go into the
Go
chat.
into the chat, meeting group chat. Let me see if
Woo.
I've done that right. Okay.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
There
Right, I'll
she
pop
is.
that.
So
I'll
if
pop that
you
in
use
the
Barking 2025, you will get at checkout, you will get 50% off. And it is similar to barking up the right tree in that I have a private community that I would love to not be lonely in, and people can come and post videos of what they're working on, ask questions. It is outside of Facebook because I'm trying to move away from Facebook a little bit. So there's a private community and I do weekly lives, and it's a case of let's just get the dogs feeling safe, build that trust. And if we take the time on building the trust slowly or going back to square one, and the cool thing is, if your guardian's looking at this, your dogs trust you. But maybe we just need to change the picture a little bit
yeah.
and change the way that something is being done to get the same result eventually, but we just have to take a circuitous route to do it. And I am, and in there you get resources and everything. And I'm really wanting to grow it and collaborate with other professionals that I trust. Julia being one of them. Goodness knows why.
Sounds
But
fabulous. Lovely.
but for happy handlers though, so enough about me, guys. Um, I think that Julia has also kindly, Julia and Barbara, in
Yes.
our resources page, there's a little note about it. If you haven't spotted it yet, Julia, could you tell them about it?
So, well, I reckon because I'm that nice, and Barbara is too. Um, In terms of our online content, we've got quite a lot of online content and we've got bits coming out all the time. Very much reactivity focused. So if you've got a reactive dog, we've got a course called Finding Your Footing, which is an absolutely brilliant place to start. And then we're dropping in courses with specific types of reactivity and stuff like that. Plus, there's other bits like there's recall and there's bits on enrichment and stuff. But anyway, you can have a discount site-wide, really, with Henry 25. And it'll
That
have to be
25%.
no, it's 2025. We just couldn't be bothered to write the 20 part. So, but because you started it, so it has to be 50, doesn't it? Really? So you'll get a discount site-wide. And the discount code, it will be on your
And are they full courses, or is it a subscription? What can you do through what do you offer, Julia?
right. So as I say, we have various courses which are online. We do have a community on, well, we got two communities on Facebook, really. We've got our one for everybody, which is you can find that by just looking for BarkFest 2024, because that's where it all started. But if you join one of our courses, then you can go into a smaller community where you can get more feedback and that kind of thing. We do have a membership as well. However,
You can't join.
You can join, but it's not live on that's not live. That's not part of the website or part of the deal, really, just because we're not selling it directly from the website. So, but if you're interested in the membership, to just drop me a message and we can have a chat about that. Absolutely no problem. But all the courses that are all online, they are there. We do these weekly lives as well in what we call the big group. So that's the Barking Up the Right Tree big group. Let me put a link to that actually.
Now that is not Barking Up the Right Tree, is it? That's BarkFest, isn't it? That one.
Yes. So let me put the link in the comments for you so that you've got it. So that's our Facebook community. We go live on YouTube at this time every week. We talk about several things. We have lots of fruit-based discussions. That's because Barbara always likes emojis in responses.
Discussion.
It's because when we ask questions, if it's like a closed question, it's like, give us a pineapple if, and then we all laugh and find it hilarious for reasons I'm not really sure. But anyway, we do. But we also take questions as well then. So, if you've got specific behavior questions about you and your dog and your situation, we can address those there. But do have a look at the courses on there, because with the 50% off, there's some absolutely smashing value, I would say.
I am just also putting in there that horrendously long link. I don't know why but that is the link to Deb.
That's that book.
That's the Deb Jones nail care book. And it's an ebook, but I printed mine off. I think it cost me £15 to print it off, but it was only $7.99. So it's like £5. But even I will refer back to that sometimes if I've got a dog that my way doesn't seem to be working, because Deb has literally got a little like step 1, this step 2. And I think it talks about nail anatomy. And
I don't know if the full thing is too long, the link to go in the chat.
Oh, didn't I just put it in?
No, I mean the YouTube chat, Vic.
Oh,
I know. I didn't know it had a character limit. Apparently so. Learn a new thing every day, don't you? I'm just seeing
if you visit my link and send me an email, I'll send you the link.
Or you could just
but I actually don't know why it's so.
I'll put her website up there anyway, and then people can go.
Oh,
I'm sorry your connection's not stable, Patricia. Everything will be in the chat though, so you can catch up later.
Well, don't worry, Patricia, because Julia and I aren't stable either.
Speak for yourself.
Any more questions for me?
Yes. Uh, so yes, what can we do at home? Where do we start at home?
Okay, so simple. Let me think of the simple. I would say now you cover boundary games with your.
We have many different names for them because they're used by so many different trainers. So we have boundary games, chill zones, hot zones. We use all of those, but it's
Okay,
basically
so the same
it's the
concept.
same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Creating value for a space.
yes, so I tend to like some of my clients will have that they always brush their dog on a certain mat or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you've got something portable, you could then roll that up and take it to the groomer. So that can sometimes help, even though we know dogs aren't always good at generalizing from place
Oh,
to
yes, we
place.
talk about that a lot here, actually. Yeah.
But we we can help them a little bit. So I would say calmness is key. If we've got
Agree.
fizzy dogs or busy or anxious dogs, if they're not calm, that's when accidents happen. In 4 years of doing this with all these dogs that apparently bite, um, I'm still in one piece. And I think because I give them the option to go away. So if you create value in this safe space that you're going to do, and this exercise, I do it without actually the goal is not to teach them to stay there forever. It's just to put value in that place.
Mhm.
So, when and release them off frequently. And then when they return, feed, 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 feed. But we don't want them to literally stay there.
Well, no, I was just thinking we want them to be able to make that choice to leave,
Yeah.
don't we?
But a
Mm.
lot of times we also, because at the end of the day, we want to grow it as a behavior that they're happy to do because for welfare reasons, for a lot of dogs, it's got to be done. So this is where we start teaching them that I'm not going to do anything to you unless you're on that mat. But we do release them off so that they learn that, oh, I can go away and I still will get a reward for going away. But you know what? I'm going to go back again because it was really cool there. And then we might do something that we know is a little stressful. But again, we've got to look at the dog in front of us. If you know your dog is worried about having their tail brushed, let's not go anywhere near the tail to start off with and create this
Yes.
picture whereby they come on that boundary that you've played that game on that they think is great. And I have started doing, um, I learned this from Amber Batson. The
November
Oh
Batson.
my gosh, love Amber Batson.
Mm.
But I always give my dog clients the heads up and I give them information. So, for example, if I don't, I'll start off by introducing touch. So I might just show them my hand and then reward away. Show them my hand, then reward away. And then maybe move my hand towards them and then reward them. So that they start, first of all, depending upon the dog, again, is that my hands are actually okay, but I'm still not touching you. Um, and that I then actually say me touch.
Yeah.
I build this, and there's been a lot of steps before this, but when it comes to it, so if it's your own dog, but I say me touch already, and then I might touch lightly, and I generally start with the back of my hand because it's less invasive than the palm of the hand, for most dogs. So a light touch and then reward away again. Then they come back and you feed, 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 feed. Ready, touch, reward away. So we start creating this picture that something, and we don't want to do anything that's really scary to start with because
Mm.
then the bucket's full and they're not learning. So as I said, a little bit of stress is good for learning. So light touch, release away, then maybe build up to a stroke and release away. And then we're creating that picture that then maybe separately on another game or exercise, we will pull out a brush and they look at it. Oh, let me talk about Susan Garrett's game. That one, it's Susan Garrett's game. I can give it to you. I use it, but this one is really cool. So what you can do is get a bag. I'm trying to see if I've got one around here.
Oh, I love this one. I know the one
Yes.
you mean. Yeah.
This can work for anything that you're looking to introduce to your dog. So you've got your shopping bag. If your dog is worried about rustling, plastic or paper, use a canvas bag. But you can put, let's say, your dog, we are going to start bandage. Why I've got a bandage on my desk, I don't know. Let's say we're going to
That's normal.
start break it, and everything that you want to do with your dog. Think about the micro steps. Not just, oh, I need to bandage my dog's leg. We've got to go, okay, my dog's never seen a bandage before, right? So the last thing we're going to do is go, give me your leg.
Those thin slices, isn't it? Super thin slices.
Break it right down. But let's say the goal is we've got to bandage the dog's head or leg or something. Then remember, you know, on this, can you imagine that? So we can start off with our bag, and then I find 3 random things. We have got this bag, and the dog's in front of me, and I reach in the bag, and I go, good, put it back in the bag. Then I go, good, put it back in the bag. And then when the thing comes out, we're like, yes, this is great. And then they get feed.
Yeah.
Put it away. But you can do this with absolutely anything. And you keep on doing that. But you've got to change the order that you're pulling out of the bag. But basically, they're all good. And we let them know it's good. This is great. Hi, this is great. Wonderful. But when that thing comes out that you really want to desensitize or get them used to, party on. And then what you'll find is that they will start anticipating, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? And it's like building up to Christmas. Their whole body, the physiology starts, so they start anticipating the scary thing or potentially scary thing. So, but even if you just did it with anything lying around to play the game with them, it's a great exercise and it works well. And it
does, yeah.
By hiding it in the bag again, it's resetting them. They're always going to succeed because when you pull something out, they're going to look at it, even if they didn't really like it or want it. They look at it so that you can go, it's great. Good. And then when you pull out the one that you really want them to be interested in, rewards. But yeah, I'd say that is a really
it's a great starting point, that, isn't it?
Great starting point for anything you're introducing to them. If you try it with the bag game, it makes it fun, and do it slowly. And as always, that I'm sure Julia and Barbara say, go at the pace of your dog. If they're starting to look like, someone mentioned the lip lick earlier, maybe it's too much. Or maybe you do it at a distance from them. Don't put it, but then it's hands off to start with. Then you might pull it out and then you might move it towards them. Yes, great. And then reward them away. And if they come back to the place, that's a conversation. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm into this. I can try it. So that would be
exactly
my thing.
I think that's absolutely fab, and I think that's a really good place for us to finish our little chat today, which has been too much fun.
You know, I could talk hours and hours.
I know.
Although I wouldn't get anything done, would I?
No, I mean, I'm quite happy to sit and talk for an hour all by myself.
It does get lonely when there's people not on, but there are today. We've got people.
And Carmela's just right. She's put on Facebook a comment that is I have to read out, but I feel a bit like
What
she said about all the barking up the right tree stuff. Seriously, join. She says they've helped me so much. They actually have no idea how much. And that's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
That's the point, isn't it?
Is we just want to spread the love and help more people. So that's why we're doing this little collaboration.
Oh, we've got LJ has popped on now. LJ comes to most of our lives with her lovely dog
Oh, well,
Bodhi, but she's in Susan Garrett's Recaller, so she's done the Pedicure Please program as well, which is based on the same sort of principles that we're talking about. So yeah, and
yes.
it's a really really good one for you to help and work with your professionals to get your
Yes.
dog
I
into
think
this
that's it. It's
frame of
being
mind.
more aware
It's a
of
team, isn't it?
what it's definitely teamwork. And if the dog is struggling with something, can you find someone or the person that you've got that your dog likes? Can we adjust something? And as I say, if your groomer is not in that wheelhouse yet, but they are a gentle groomer, but they don't have the behavior or the training skills, I am more than happy to do the first consult with any groomer free of charge for 30 minutes. So to bounce around ideas and see if we can come up with a plan.
Oh, there's Nicola's put a lovely comment on as well, and I'm happy to read this one because it's about you. Victoria is Willow's guardian angel. You can see, actually, if you look closely, you can see her little halo and her wings.
Saying that as well? Or are you saying that?
That's what I say.
Oh, okay.
Could you not guess?
Well, I did wonder. Nicola,
Oh,
she might
dear.
have been saying, I can see her halo. Halo.
So if you are up for reactivity-based chatterings, about all sorts of stuff. I think I'm just starting to write the one for next week. So we do the same thing, same time, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock GMT, 12 o'clock
Well, you'll have to be finished by
ET.
6:30 because if my lot sign up, they've got to jump on mine at 6:30.
Yeah, but they'd be recorded. And to
They're
be
all
fair, we do get
recorded.
most of it done by 6:30. So I mean but Barbara and I can witter on as well. You can also, if you go into the group, pop questions on there. We love a question and we'd love to see you in some of our courses as well. But yeah, same time, same place. So it's advertised and linked from the Facebook group.
You know what? Jodie has just sent me a message
Yeah,
saying,
she's been on Facebook. I said hello.
yeah, well, she said she can't she was glad to see me. So it was nice to see Jodie's name pop up, but
Yeah,
she messaged
she
me.
was trying to comment but could only comment on Facebook. So I said she could comment. She could, if you had any questions, pop them on there because of my
It's nice to know.
amazing multitasking.
Yes, you're very good at that. I'm not. Okay, well, listen, Julia and
That was
Barbara, who's
fun.
not here, that was fun, and I hope
Fun.
that
We'll do it again. We'll do it again sometime.
we'll do it again. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Anybody's got questions, you've got the link if you want to, if you're interested in checking out some more details on the course. And anyone who is interested in training wise and wants to hang out with Julia and Barbara, check out the resources page on my in the course because you will see all the information there.
Perfect. Right, lovely people. Hopefully I'll see most of you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.